Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that say stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia.
Hey, what's going on guys? It's Shivam and today we're going to be checking out the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. Now I know this phone's been getting a lot of hate for the plastic back and other features that Samsung cut from it, but I actually think that this is the phone that most people will buy, and here's why. So in my opinion, there are 6 main categories that you need to look at when deciding what is the perfect smartphone. And those would be display, camera, battery, extra features, software, and price. And for the average person, you probably won't be disappointed in most of these categories for the Note 20. Unboxing the phone, we can see that the S Pen is front and center on the box, and you can see the word Note plastered across the box at some angles. We can see the phone right on top in all of its glory. You'll see that I got the Mystic Bronze version, which is plastic, but it's a really nice matte color. Putting the phone aside, we can see some of the accessories, such as the charging brick and the cable, but there's no headphones this time. Interesting. Back to the phone though. You can see the triple camera on the back, consisting of an ultra-wide, wide-angle, and telephoto lens, plus the punch hole camera up front. Anyway, let's get into the review. Firstly, the display. It's a nice and large panel spanning 6.7 inches. I mean, remember when this used to be tablet size? Anyway, the display has flat edges which makes it a lot easier to grip, while also preventing any accidental screen presses. I know a lot of people struggle with the insanely curved displays on other phones, but that's not a problem here. It's supposed to make the phone look more futuristic when the panel's curved, but you just have to ask yourself if that's a risk you're willing to take. Now personally for me, I don't really notice a difference between it. In fact, I never get any accidental screen presses when using a phone that has a curved edge, but I guess it's just up to how people are using their phones, and it's your decision to make if that's a risk you're willing to take. The panel is a 1080p 60Hz display, and here's where the problems arise. Ask any tech reviewer what they think, and of course they won't like it, because of the lower refresh rate and the lower display quality, but I don't think the average person really cares. It's good enough to the point where you won't really notice that it's a bad display, or you won't find yourself asking that the screen quality is too low. I mean, look at the iPhone XR and 11. Those have been doing just fine despite all the hate they got about the displays. And for most people, I think that this is worth the price. However, we'll get into that later. Next we got the camera. It's got a triple camera setup rocking an ultra-wide, wide-angle, and telephoto zoom lens. Now I have to say, the camera is pretty impressive. The wide-angle shots are really nice and detailed. Dynamic range is pretty good too, and you can even get close to objects without using the telephoto camera. Pictures do come out looking a little oversaturated at times, so you have to know that the pictures aren't really true to life like the iPhones. But if you want a punchy image with lots of contrast and a cooler tone, this will definitely do the job. Next we got the ultra-wide lens, which you can see for yourself just how wide it is. Doesn't really seem like much has changed from the Note 10, but it's nothing to complain about either. The zoom lens is also really cool. You can zoom in up to 30 times, making it especially useful. I feel like people are doing this more than they want a wider shot when using their phones, so having this 30 times zoom is really useful. And even though it's basically unusable at 30 times, it's still really neat to see how the advanced technology has improved over time, and to know that you can even capture images at this distance. Alright, third we got the battery. Now the battery isn't as good as you'd expect from the Note line. I mean, I remember when the Note phone was supposed to be the top of its class, and it had the biggest battery and every single feature you could imagine. Because this is a little bit of a dumbed down Note, it doesn't have that excellent battery capacity. This year we only get a 4300 mAh battery, and although it lasts the day, that's only because of the 60Hz refresh rate and 1080p screen. Just know that if you're going through your day doing normal things like taking calls, sending messages, using social media, watching videos, or anything as such, you'll probably be fine throughout the day. Next up is the software, and there isn't too much to say here. Samsung has kept their One UI 2 skin, and it's been holding up pretty well. You still get all the bloatware though, which is annoying. Anything from 2 mail apps, 2 calendar apps, etc. It's just frustrating, the fact that you have to switch which app you want to use every time. And if you're sending a file somewhere, you have to select which one of the 2 apps that you need. And if you manage to misplace those, or you get them mixed up, then it's going to be a world of pain trying to put them back where they were supposed to be. However, Samsung does put a lot of effort into its features, which we'll talk about next. Just to list some features off the top of my head, the Note 20 has Gorilla Glass 5, the Snapdragon 865 Plus, comes in Mystic Bronze, Mystic Green, and Mystic Gray, a punch hole camera, new 8K video recording, reverse wireless charge, and of course the S Pen. And the biggest reason why you take this phone is because of the S Pen. Currently, the S Pen is probably the best or second best phone accessory, behind maybe the Apple Watch, but this is included. And you could do some really cool things, like change music, switch tracks. In fact, here's an example. So I can't play music directly from the phone because of copyright reasons, but this is just an example of what it would be like. So let's say you have your phone on a table and you just press the button and a song will start playing. Now maybe you wanna skip tracks, so you swipe once that way and it skips the track. Maybe you wanna go back to the other one, swipe back. Maybe the volume's a little bit too low, so you can raise it up just by swiping. And let's say you want to talk to somebody, so you want to lower the volume a bit, swipe down, and same thing happens. Pretty cool. As you can see, it's an all-around complete phone, but where's the fault? Well, it's the price. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that this phone is overpriced. I mean, a plastic back? When the iPhone SE has a glass one for $400, and they included a low refresh rate screen when the OnePlus 7 Pro had a 90Hz one at 1080p for $300 less. And all of the other shortcomings that Samsung had to take. However, despite this, I think that this is still a better value than the Note 20 Ultra. And that's because people don't need these features. Like, the phone does feel good in the hand, and after a while, it phases out of your mind that it's even plastic. Plus, it looks really nice in this matte bronze color. On top of that, most people will probably slap a case onto their phone, so you're not going to notice that anyway. But still, the problem is that because this phone is a better value than the Note 20 Ultra, people will buy it. You just have to realize how expensive the Ultra is. I mean, at that price, you could pay your rent. So when people want a Note phone, when people want the S Pen and they want the big battery and all these features, but they can't afford the Note 20 Ultra, their only other option is the Note 20. So people are going to buy that, those sales are going to get boosted, and Samsung's going to think that they're doing the right thing, but actually they're not. So for 1,000 USD, or about $1,400 Canadian, this phone just isn't that worth it. The only people who should consider this phone are absolute ballers. Like, if you just have cash lying around and you just need something to do with it, then sure, go ahead. Or if you absolutely need the S Pen, but you don't have the budget to spend on something expensive like the Note 20 Ultra, then go for it. But that's a really large problem. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not a good deal by any means, but you just have to default to this phone if you can't afford the Note 20 Ultra, but you want the S Pen. So there's not much of an option for Samsung users. If you really are looking for a Note, you could just cough up an extra $400, but that's getting into laptop territory. And there's probably a lot of better deals that you can get, but because this is a one-of-a-kind phone with a stylus, people don't really have a choice. Now, that's assuming that they're not going to upgrade, but that depends upon the person. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.